Newsmax TV's continuing coverage of Super Tuesday 2016 rolls on. J.D. Hayworth at the anchor desk. Pleased to be joined from Washington, D.C., just across the Potomac from the Commonwealth of Virginia, by Newsmax chief political columnist John Gizzi, who's also our White House correspondent. John, earlier tonight, we heard from the chairman of the Virginia GOP, and apparently we read more into his remarks. I'll repeat what he had to say to us because he said we perhaps misinterpreted what he is thinking vis-a-vis a brokered convention. Chairman Whitbeck said, quote, he hopes to lead a delegation to the convention to pick the strongest candidate, and he asserts that he is in no way in favor of a brokered or open convention. He simply wants to see the strongest candidate. Thus far tonight, Donald Trump is the strongest candidate, Ted Cruz with 3 wins, Marco Rubio with 1, and a possibility that John Kasich may pull a Vermont surprise. So when all is said and done, does Trump emerge tonight as the absolutely strongest candidate of the GOP?
He certainly appears a lot stronger than he did on February 29th, J.D. Let's put it that way. And I talked to the Virginia chairman at length tonight, John Whitbeck. He said he would support any of the Republican nominees against Hillary Clinton and believes any would carry Virginia's electoral votes. Now, that said, he also told me there's a possibility that the nominee may be decided by the convention and that this race is going to go on for a long time. Certainly no sooner were all of the results in Virginia and the Republican Party there closing down their media center than I heard a lot of talk about people buying tickets and getting hotel rooms in Michigan, which comes up next Tuesday. So I think that's going to be the next battleground. We'll see if the Trump train makes a fast ride through it or is derailed.
And in terms of Michigan, as the debate comes up on Thursday night there, and just for the record, here are the results. Donald Trump wins the Virginia primary by 3 points over Marco Rubio. No doubt the areas around the nation's capital there, just across from the Potomac, heavily for Rubio, but Trump was able to prevail, and in all likelihood, John Gizzi, because of the strength that Trump had in the southwestern part of Virginia.
Right.
But let me move on to Michigan now, and let's talk about what is at stake there. You've got John Kasich, essentially a next-door neighbor in Ohio, despite the antipathy between Michigan State and Michigan and Ohio State people in football. You've got that proximity geographically. You've got Donald Trump with a message of economic nationalism, and you have Marco Rubio as really the establishment favorite. What happens in Thursday night's debate?
Well, I think there's going to be tremendous focus on who will emerge as the anti-Trump in Michigan. And remember, Ted Cruz is making a very strong effort there. I talked to Saul Newsmax, the former state party chairman, who is the Cruz campaign manager in the Wolverine state. And let me be clear about something, J.D. Michigan has always been an unpredictable state. I've been covering it for decades. One of the things one has to remember, there's no party registration in Michigan. It's like a lot of the southern states. So anyone can request a ballot and come over. Democratic crossover votes allowed John McCain to win a spectacular upset over George W. Bush in 2000 and keep his campaign alive. And just 4 years ago, I remember staying up to the wee hours of the morning when Rick Santorum held Mitt Romney to a win of by 2% of the vote in the state of his birth. So Michigan has a history of unpredictability.
So to borrow a line from Ohio Governor John Kasich, fasten our seatbelts heading into the car-making state of Michigan. John Gizzi from Newsmax Washington, or tonight via Skype from Washington. John, we thank you very, very much for your time and your insights.